Have you ever felt like your deepest pain is a secret only you carry? What if the scars you've hidden in silence are the very key to unlocking your truest, most powerful self? Inspired by Carl Jung's timeless wisdom, today we're diving into 13 hidden signs that your suffering hasn't broken you. It's shaped you into someone extraordinary. From the masks you wear to the quiet strength you've built, we'll explore real-life stories and Carl Jung's profound insights to show you how your pain can become your greatest teacher. So, stick with us for a journey of self-discovery that might just change the way you see yourself. Let's get started. What if the strength you've been praised for is actually a mask hiding your deepest pain? When you've endured deep suffering, you learn to wear a face the world admires, one of unshakable resilience, of unwavering inner strength. But behind that mask, there's a story only you know. A story of silent battles, of carrying burdens no one sees, of becoming your own shelter when the world felt like a storm. In this chapter, we'll uncover the first 2 signs that your suffering has shaped you in profound ways, hiding your pain behind a mask of strength and building a fortress of hyperindependence. Through Carl Jung's wisdom and a real-life story, we'll explore how these traits, born from survival, can be the first steps toward your transformation and self-discovery. Sign 1. You hide your pain behind a mask of strength. The world calls you strong. They see your calm demeanor, your ability to keep going no matter what, and they assume you've got it all together. But deep down, you know the truth that strength is a persona, a term Carl Jung used to describe the social mask we wear to navigate the world. This mask isn't a lie. It's a survival tool. When life handed you pain, whether it was a chaotic childhood, a betrayal, or a loss you never spoke about, you learned to hide your wounds. You smiled when you wanted to cry. You said, "I'm fine," when your heart was breaking. Why? Because vulnerability felt like a luxury you couldn't afford. Because showing your pain might have invited judgment, pity, or worse, rejection. This mask of strength became your shield. It protected you from a world that didn't always feel safe. But it also came at a cost. Every time you put it on, you buried a piece of yourself, the part that longed for healing, the part that craved authenticity. Carl Jung once said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." For you, accepting yourself means facing the pain beneath the mask. The pain you've spent years pretending doesn't exist. And that's terrifying, but it's also the beginning of your personal growth. Sign 2. You've built a fortress of hyperindependence. If you've endured deep suffering, chances are you've become fiercely independent. You don't just want to stand on your own, you have to. This hyperindependence is the second sign of your journey through pain. When the world let you down, maybe it was a parent who wasn't there, a friend who betrayed you, or a system that failed you, you learned a hard lesson: relying on others is risky. So, you became your own hero, your own protector, your own fortress. You built walls not to keep others out, but to keep yourself safe. This inner strength is remarkable, but it's also isolating. You've become so good at doing everything alone that asking for help feels like admitting defeat. You carry the weight of your responsibilities, your emotions, and your dreams without ever letting anyone else hold a piece of it. People admire you for it. They call you independent, capable, unstoppable. But what they don't see is the exhaustion behind your resilience, the quiet moments when you wish, just for a second, someone would say, "You don't have to do this alone." Carl Jung's concept of the shadow helps us understand this. Your hyperindependence is part of your shadow, the parts of yourself you've pushed away to survive. In this case, it's the part that longs to be vulnerable, to be seen, to be held. Acknowledging that part doesn't make you weak. It's the first step toward healing and wholeness. Carl Jung believed that true self-discovery comes from integrating the shadow, from embracing the parts of yourself you've hidden behind your fortress. A real-life story. Sarah's journey. Let's meet Sarah, a woman in her 30s who embodies these signs. Growing up, Sarah's home was a battleground of arguments and unpredictability. As the eldest child, she became the strong one, the one who mediated fights, cared for her siblings, and kept the family from falling apart. She learned early that crying wasn't safe. Her parents dismissed her tears as weakness. So, Sarah put on a mask of strength. She got good grades, excelled at her job, and became the person everyone relied on. Friends called her a rock, but inside, she felt like she was crumbling. Sarah's hyperindependence grew from necessity. When her parents couldn't be there, she became her own parent. She worked multiple jobs to put herself through college, never asking for help, even when she was drowning in stress. But one day, Sarah hit a breaking point. A close friend offered to help her through a tough time, and she pushed them away, terrified of seeming weak. That moment forced her to ask, why is it so hard to let someone in? That question led her to therapy, where she discovered Carl Jung's ideas about the persona and the shadow. Through journaling and reflection, Sarah began to see her mask of strength for what it was, a survival tool, not her true self. Slowly, she started letting go, asking for help, and embracing her vulnerability. That was the beginning of her transformation, a journey toward authenticity and personal growth. The lesson's strength is in truth, not the mask. Sarah's story shows us that resilience isn't about hiding your pain, it's about having the courage to face it. Your mask of strength and your fortress of hyperindependence were born from necessity, but they don't have to define you forever. Carl Jung's path of individuation, the journey to becoming your whole self, starts with recognizing these traits as parts of your survival, not your identity. Healing begins when you dare to take off the mask, even just for a moment, and let the world see the real you. It's scary, yes, but it's also liberating, because authenticity is the truest form of inner strength. What about you? Have you ever hidden your pain behind a mask of strength? Maybe you've been the strong one in your family, your workplace, or your friendships. Or maybe you've built walls of independence so high that no one can get close. Share your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear how your resilience has shaped your journey of self-discovery. Do you ever feel like you're carrying the emotions of everyone around you, even when your own heart is heavy? If you've endured deep suffering, you might have developed a rare gift, an almost supernatural ability to sense what others feel, often before they even say a word. But this gift can also feel like a burden, a weight that pulls you into the storms of others, while your own healing waits in the shadows. In this chapter, we'll explore the next 3 signs that your suffering has shaped you feeling others' emotions deeply, putting others' needs above your own, and feeling invisible when you're not needed. Through Carl Jung's wisdom and a real-life story, we'll uncover how this empathy born from survival can be both a superpower and a trap, and how you can begin to balance it for your personal growth and self-discovery. Sign 3. You feel others' emotions deeply. You walk into a room, and without anyone saying a word, you can sense the tension behind a forced smile or the sadness hidden in a casual, "I'm okay." It's like you have a radar for emotions, picking up on the unspoken grief, the quiet fears, the storms brewing beneath someone's calm exterior. This isn't just intuition, it's a heightened empathy forged in the fires of your own suffering. Carl Jung would call this a gift of the unconscious, a sensitivity developed from years of navigating pain. Maybe you grew up in a home where you had to anticipate moods to stay safe. Or maybe you learned to read people to avoid conflict. Whatever the cause, this ability makes you a beacon for others. They come to you with their struggles, trusting you to understand. Because you do. But here's the catch: feeling so much can leave you drained, overwhelmed, and disconnected from your own emotions. This deep empathy is a sign of your resilience, but it can also feel like a curse. You absorb the energy of others, carrying their pain alongside your own, until it's hard to tell where their emotions end and yours begin. Carl Jung's concept of projection explains this sometimes. In trying to heal others, you're unconsciously trying to heal the parts of yourself you've ignored. True healing starts when you learn to set boundaries, to honor your own emotions as much as you honor others. Sign 4: you put others' needs above your own. If you've endured deep suffering, you've likely become the person everyone turns to: the listener, the fixer, the one who's always there. You give your time, your energy, your heart, even when you're running on empty. Why? Because somewhere along the way, you learned that helping others feels safer than helping yourself. It's not just kindness, it's a survival strategy. When you were young, maybe you were the peacemaker in a chaotic family. Or maybe you felt your worth depended on being useful. Now, as an adult, you prioritize others' needs over your own, even when it leaves you depleted. This habit of overgiving is tied to Carl Jung's idea of the persona, the mask you wear to feel accepted. By always being the helper, you've made your worth about what you can do for others, not who you are. But here's the truth: your value isn't tied to how much you give. Authenticity means recognizing that your needs matter too. Personal growth comes from learning to say no without guilt, to care for yourself with the same compassion you offer others. It's not selfish, it's essential for your transformation. Sign 5: you feel invisible when you're not needed. Have you ever felt like you only matter when someone needs you, when you're not solving a problem, listening to a friend, or being the strong one? It's like you disappear. This is the 5th sign of your journey through suffering. Because you've spent so long being the caretaker, the supporter, the emotional anchor, you've tied your identity to being useful. When no one needs you, you feel lost, as if your existence depends on being needed. This isn't just selflessness, it's a wound. It's the part of you that believes love must be earned, that authenticity is a risk you can't take. Carl Jung's teachings on individuation remind us that true self-discovery involves reclaiming your sense of self, separate from the roles you play. You are not just what you do for others, you are a person with your own dreams, fears, and desires. Healing this wound means learning to see yourself as worthy, even when you're not useful. It's about embracing your inner strength and letting go of the need to prove your value through sacrifice. A real-life story. Michael's awakening. Meet Michael, a 40-year-old teacher who embodies these signs. Growing up, Michael's family struggled with financial instability and emotional chaos. As a teenager, he became the glue holding his family together, always calming his parents' arguments and supporting his younger siblings. He learned to sense their moods before they even spoke, becoming the family's emotional translator. As an adult, Michael carried this empathy into his friendships and work. He was the one colleagues turned to for advice, the one friends called at midnight with their crises. But Michael rarely shared his own struggles. "I didn't want to burden anyone," he'd say. Over time, Michael noticed he felt empty when he wasn't helping someone. His resilience kept him going, but he was exhausted. One day, a student's heartfelt thank you note made him realize he was giving so much to others that he'd forgotten how to care for himself. Inspired by a podcast on Carl Jung, Michael began exploring the concept of projection. He saw that his overgiving was a way to avoid facing his own pain, a childhood fear of being not enough. Through journaling and therapy, Michael started setting boundaries, He said no to extra work, took time for hobbies, and began sharing his own struggles with a close friend. For the first time, he felt seen not for what he did, but for who he was. This was his transformation, a step toward authenticity and personal growth. The lesson: empathy is your strength, but you deserve it too. Michael's story shows that empathy is a gift, but it's not your entire identity. Your ability to feel others deeply is a sign of your resilience, but it doesn't mean you have to carry their pain at the expense of your own healing. Carl Jung's path of individuation teaches us to balance our care for others with care for ourselves. Self-discovery isn't about becoming less empathetic. It's about directing that compassion inward. 2. You deserve the same love you give so freely. Transformation begins when you set boundaries, honor your own emotions, and realize your worth isn't tied to how much you give. What about you do? You find yourself giving too much to others. Even when you're running on empty, maybe you've felt invisible when no one needs you. Or maybe you've carried the emotions of a room without even realizing it. Share your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear how your empathy has shaped your journey of self-discovery. Stay with us for the next chapter, where we'll dive into how your suffering has made you wary of love and intimacy and how to break free from that fear. Let's keep going. What if the love you crave is the very thing you're most afraid of when you've endured deep suffering? Opening your heart feels like stepping onto a battlefield. You want connection, closeness, and authenticity, but every step toward intimacy triggers an alarm in your soul, a warning born from past betrayals, abandonments, or wounds that taught you love can hurt. In this chapter, we'll explore 3 signs that your suffering has shaped how you approach relationships, building walls to avoid pain, pushing others away before they can leave you, and overanalyzing every detail in relationships through Carl Jung's profound wisdom and a real-life story. We'll uncover how these fears, rooted in survival, can hold you back from the healing and transformation you deserve, and how to start breaking free for your personal growth and self-discovery. Sign 6. You build walls to avoid pain. If you've been through deep suffering, you've likely mastered the art of self-protection. You don't just guard your heart, you've built towering walls around it. Every time someone gets too close, you feel a tightening in your chest, a reflex to pull back. Maybe it's because you've been hurt before by a parent who wasn't there, a partner who betrayed you, or a friend who walked away when you needed them most. Whatever the source, you learned that vulnerability equals danger. So, you keep people at a distance, not because you don't care, but because you care too much. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow helps us understand this. Your fear of intimacy is part of your shadow, the hidden parts of yourself shaped by pain. Carl Jung taught that our unconscious fears drive our behavior until we bring them into the light. Those walls you've built, they were your survival mechanism, your way of protecting your inner strength. But now, they might be keeping you from the healing that comes with true connection. Self-discovery means recognizing these walls and choosing to lower them, even just a little, to let love in. Sign 7. You push others away before they can leave you. Have you ever ended a relationship, friendship, romance, or even a family tie before it had a chance to hurt you? This is the 7th sign of your journey through suffering. You push people away, not because you don't want them in your life, but because you're terrified of being abandoned. The fear of being left behind is so deep that you'd rather walk away first. It's a preemptive strike, a way to control the pain before it controls you. But every time you push someone away, you're also pushing away the chance for authenticity and connection. Carl Jung's teachings on the unconscious reveal why this happens. Your fear of abandonment isn't just about the present, it's a memory from your past, a wound that's still whispering, "Don't trust, Don't let them in. This fear can keep you trapped in a cycle of isolation where you long for closeness, but sabotage it before it can begin. Transformation comes when you recognize this pattern and dare to stay, even when your instincts scream to run. It's about choosing resilience over fear and trusting that you're worthy of love that stays. Sign 8. You overanalyze every detail in relationships. Do you find yourself dissecting every text, every silence, every shift in someone's tone? This is the 8th sign of your suffering's impact, because you've been hurt before. Your mind has become a detective, searching for clues that someone might leave, betray, or disappoint you. A missed call becomes a sign of rejection. A short reply feels like a warning. This overanalysis isn't just anxiety, it's a survival skill honed by pain. You're trying to protect yourself by predicting the hurt before it happens. Carl Jung's concept of projection explains this behavior. When you overanalyze, you're projecting your fears onto others, seeing your own wounds in their actions. This can make relationships feel like a minefield, where every step could trigger an explosion. But healing this pattern starts with awareness. By bringing your fears into the light, you can begin to separate them from reality. Personal growth means learning to trust not just others, but yourself, to handle whatever comes, without needing to control every moment. A real-life story. Anna's breakthrough. Let's meet Anna, a 35-year-old graphic designer who embodies these signs. Growing up, Anna's father left when she was young, leaving her with a deep fear of abandonment. As an adult, she struggled to maintain relationships. Every time a partner or friend got close, she'd feel a wave of panic. She'd build walls, keeping conversations light, avoiding deep emotional talks to protect herself. When a new relationship showed promise, Anna would find reasons to pull away. Convinced they'd leave her eventually, she'd obsess over their texts, analyzing every word for signs of rejection. One day, a close friend called Anna out on her pattern of pushing people away. Hurt but curious, Anna began reading about Carl Jung's ideas on the shadow and projection. She realized her fear of intimacy wasn't about her partners, it was about the little girl inside her who felt unlovable after her father left. Through therapy, Anna started journaling about her fears, naming them, and slowly letting trusted people in. She began to see that authenticity in relationships didn't mean danger, it meant freedom. By lowering her walls, Anna found connections that felt safe and real, sparking her transformation and self-discovery. Today, she's learning to love without fear, embracing her inner strength in a new way. The lesson: love is a risk worth. Taking Anna's story shows that your fear of love and intimacy is a sign of your resilience. You've survived pain by protecting your heart. But those walls, that pushing away, that overanalyzing, they're keeping you from the healing you deserve. Carl Jung's path of individuation teaches us that true personal growth comes from facing our shadow, from acknowledging our fears and choosing to move through them. Love doesn't have to be a battlefield. It can be a sanctuary, a place where your authenticity shines. Transformation begins when you take the risk to let someone in, trusting that you're worthy of love that doesn't hurt. What about you? What's the hardest part of letting someone get close to you? Maybe you've built walls to keep pain out. Or maybe you've pushed someone away to avoid being hurt. Share your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear how your journey through suffering has shaped your relationships and your self-discovery. Stay with us for the next chapter, where we'll explore how your pain has given you a unique ability to find meaning in the smallest moments. Let's keep going. What if your pain has given you eyes that see what others miss? Deep suffering doesn't just leave scars, it sharpens your vision, teaching you to notice beauty, meaning, and truth in places others overlook. In this chapter, we'll explore 3 signs that your journey through pain has gifted you a quiet, profound wisdom, sensing the energy around you, finding meaning in the smallest moments, and setting boundaries to protect your peace. Through Carl Jung's insights and a real-life story, we'll uncover how these traits born from survival mark your transformation into someone who carries inner strength and authenticity. This is where your suffering becomes a compass, guiding you toward healing and self-discovery. Sign 9. You sense the energy around you. You've always had a knack for reading a room. You can feel the undercurrents of tension, the unspoken grief, or the joy someone's trying to hide. This isn't just intuition, it's a survival skill honed by your pain. Maybe you grew up in an unpredictable environment, where sensing danger or distress kept you safe. Or maybe loss taught you to notice the subtle signs others miss. This heightened sensitivity is a hallmark of your resilience. You don't just hear words, you listen to the silence between them, picking up on what's left unsaid. Carl Jung described this as a connection to the collective unconscious, a deep well of shared human experience that your suffering has tapped into. Your ability to sense energy makes you a beacon for others, someone who understands without needing explanations. But it can also be overwhelming. As you absorb the emotions of those around you, healing this gift means learning to protect your energy while still embracing your empathy. It's about using your sensitivity as a strength, not a burden. In your journey of personal growth, sign 10. You find meaning in the smallest moments, while others chase grand moments. You find magic in the ordinary, a warm cup of coffee on a quiet morning, the way sunlight dances through the trees, or a stranger's fleeting smile. This is the 10th sign of your suffering's impact. Pain has taught you to cherish what others take for granted, to find authenticity in the everyday. When life felt like it was falling apart, these small moments became your anchor, proof that beauty still exists, even in the darkest times. Carl Jung's concept of individuation, the journey to wholeness, explains why this matters. Your suffering has stripped away illusions, leaving you with a clarity others rarely find. You don't need loud victories to feel alive. You've learned to find meaning in the quiet, the subtle, the real. This is your inner strength at work, a sign of your resilience that turns pain into wisdom, but it also challenges you to share these moments, to let others see the depth of your perspective. As part of your self-discovery, sign 11. You set boundaries to protect your peace. If you've endured deep suffering, you've likely learned the hard way that not everyone deserves access to your heart. Setting boundaries, saying no, stepping back from toxic relationships, or carving out time for yourself is the 11th sign of your journey. This isn't selfishness, it's survival. You've spent so long giving to others, absorbing their energy, or carrying their pain, that you've realized something profound. Your peace is sacred. Protecting it is an act of authenticity. Carl Jung taught that individuation requires us to define who we are, separate from the expectations of others. Setting boundaries is a radical step toward healing, a way to honor your inner strength and reclaim your energy. It's not about shutting people out, it's about choosing who and what aligns with your personal growth. This shift can feel uncomfortable, even guilty, at first, but every boundary you set is a declaration that your well-being matters, a step toward a life that feels like home to your soul. A real-life story. David's redemption. Meet David, a 42-year-old social worker who embodies these signs. Growing up in a high-pressure household with a critical parent, David learned to sense shifts in mood to avoid conflict. As an adult, this empathy made him exceptional at his job, where he could read his clients' unspoken struggles, but it also left him drained, as he absorbed their pain without knowing how to release it. Despite his demanding career, David found solace in small moments, a walk in the park, the sound of rain, A kind word from a colleague. These became his lifeline, reminders that life was still worth living. For years, David struggled to say no. He took on extra work, stayed late to help others, and let toxic friendships drain his energy. But a health scare forced him to confront his limits. Inspired by a book on Carl Jung, David began exploring the idea of individuation. He realized his sensitivity and lack of boundaries were survival tools from his childhood, but they were no longer serving him. David started setting boundaries, politely declining extra tasks, distancing himself from negative people, and carving out time for himself. He also began sharing his love for small moments, like writing poetry about nature, which helped him connect with others authentically. This was David's transformation, a journey towards self-discovery that turned his pain into wisdom and his sensitivity into a gift. The lesson: your pain has made you wise. David's story shows that your suffering has given you a rare kind of wisdom, one that sees beauty in the small, senses what others miss, and protects what matters most. These signs of resilience, your sensitivity, your love for the ordinary, your boundaries are proof of your inner strength. Carl Jung's path of individuation reminds us that healing comes from embracing these gifts, not hiding them. Your pain has made you a quiet revolutionary, someone who finds meaning where others see nothing, who protects their peace without apology. Personal growth means using this wisdom to live authentically, to create a life that honors both your pain and your potential. What about you? What small moment of beauty helps you find peace? Maybe it's a quiet morning or a fleeting connection that reminds you life is still good. Or perhaps you've started setting boundaries to protect your energy. Share your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear how your resilience has shaped your self-discovery. Stay with us for the next chapter, where we'll explore how your suffering has led you to a deeper, truer version of yourself. Let's keep going. What if your deepest pain is the doorway to becoming your truest self? Your suffering hasn't just shaped you, it's carved a path toward wholeness, a state where you no longer hide from your pain, but embrace it as part of who you are. In this final chapter, we'll explore the last two signs that your journey through suffering has led you to profound transformation, recognizing the wisdom your pain has given you, and living authentically without the mask. Through Carl Jung's timeless insights and a powerful real-life story, we'll see how your resilience has made you not just a survivor, but a creator of a life filled with authenticity and inner strength. This is where your pain becomes your purpose, guiding you toward healing and self-discovery. Sign 12. You recognize the wisdom your pain has given you. Your suffering has left you with something extraordinary, a depth of understanding that others rarely touch. You see the world differently, not through rose-colored glasses, but through eyes that have witnessed pain and still choose to find meaning. This is the 12th sign of your journey. Whether it's the ability to connect with someone else's struggles, to offer compassion without judgment, or to find clarity in chaos, your pain has given you wisdom. You notice the unspoken, you value the fleeting, and you understand that life's beauty often lies in its fragility. Carl Jung's concept of individuation, the process of becoming whole, teaches us that this wisdom is no accident. Your suffering has been a teacher, stripping away illusions and forcing you to confront your shadow, the parts of yourself you once hid. By facing your pain, you've gained insight that others might spend a lifetime chasing. This inner strength allows you to navigate life with a quiet confidence, knowing that your scars are not flaws, but badges of resilience. Personal growth comes from embracing this wisdom, using it to guide not just your own healing, but also to light the way for others. Sign 13. You live authentically, without the mask, for so long. You wore a mask, whether it was strength, independence, or selflessness to survive a world that felt unsafe. But now, you're beginning to let it go. This is the 13th sign you're daring to live as your true self. Without apology or pretense, you're no longer hiding your pain or pretending to be unbreakable. You're showing up as you are flawed, complex, and beautifully human. This authenticity is the culmination of your journey through suffering, a testament to your resilience and courage. Carl Jung believed that wholeness comes from integrating all parts of yourself, the light and the dark, the pain and the joy. Living authentically means no longer splitting yourself into the person you think the world wants and the person you truly are. It means saying, "I'm not okay," and trusting you'll be met with presence, not judgment. It means sharing your story, your struggles, and your dreams without fear of rejection. This act of courage is where transformation happens, where self-discovery becomes a way of life. By living without the mask, you're not just healing, you're creating a life that feels true to your soul. A real life story. Emma's rebirth. Let's meet Emma, a 38-year-old writer who embodies these signs. Emma grew up in a home where emotional expression was discouraged. After losing her mother to illness as a teenager, she buried her grief and wore a mask of strength to keep her family together. She became the perfect daughter, friend, and colleague, always smiling, always giving. But inside, she felt hollow. Her pain taught her to read people's emotions, to offer comfort, and to find meaning in small moments like writing poetry under the stars or listening to her favorite song. But it also left her afraid to show her true self, convinced that vulnerability would drive people away. In her 30s, Emma hit a breaking point, burnt out and disconnected. She stumbled across Carl Jung's work on individuation. She began journaling, digging into her pain, and asking herself, "Who am I without the mask?" Through therapy, she uncovered the wisdom her suffering had given her, a deep empathy for others, and a knack for finding beauty in the ordinary. Slowly, Emma started living more authentically. She shared her poetry with friends, spoke openly about her grief, and stopped pretending to have it all together. To her surprise, people didn't pull away. They drew closer. Inspired by her courage, Emma's transformation wasn't just about healing. It was about stepping into a life of wholeness, where her pain and her purpose became one. Today, she writes to help others embrace their own self-discovery, proving that authenticity is the ultimate act of inner strength. The lesson: your pain is your path to wholeness. Emma's story shows that your suffering isn't the end of your story, it's the beginning of your wholeness. The wisdom you've gained and the courage to live authentically are signs of your resilience, proof that you've turned pain into purpose. Carl Jung's path of individuation reminds us that healing isn't about erasing your scars but integrating them into who you are. Your pain has made you wise, compassionate, and real. Personal growth means using that wisdom to live a life that feels true, to connect with others without fear, and to embrace your authenticity as your greatest strength. You're not just a survivor, you're a creator of a life filled with meaning. What about you? How has your pain shaped who you are today? Maybe it's given you wisdom to see the world differently. Or maybe you've started living more authentically, letting go of the mask. Share your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear how your resilience has fueled your self-discovery. Stay with us for the outro, where we'll tie it all together and inspire you to keep walking your path to wholeness. Let's finish strong. Your pain didn't break you. It built you. Through these 13 signs, we've walked a journey together, inspired by Carl Jung's timeless wisdom, to uncover how your deepest suffering has shaped you into someone extraordinary. From the mask of strength you wore to survive, to the walls you built to protect your heart, to the quiet wisdom that lets you see beauty where others see nothing. Your resilience is a testament to your inner strength. Your pain has been a teacher, guiding you towards self-discovery, authenticity, and wholeness. It's taught you to feel deeply, to love cautiously, to find meaning in the smallest moments, and to rise, again and again, as the truest version of yourself. But this isn't the end of your transformation. It's just the beginning. Carl Jung once said, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." Your suffering doesn't define you. It's the raw material for your personal growth. You have the power to choose what comes next, to let go of the masks, to lower the walls, to embrace your healing with courage. You're not just a survivor. You're a creator of a life that feels like home to your soul. So, take a deep breath, honor your scars, and step boldly into the life you were always meant to live. Now, it's your turn. Which of these 13 signs hit you the hardest? Maybe it's the way you've hidden your pain behind a mask, or the wisdom you found in quiet moments. Share your story in the comments below. Your voice matters, and this community is here to listen. Let's build a space of healing and self-discovery together. If this video resonated with you, give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell for more Carl Jung-inspired wisdom to guide your journey. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, because your resilience can inspire others to find their wholeness too. Thank you for being here now. Go out there and live unapologetically as your true self.